there's like people who are the faces of particular spaces. Like, for instance, when you're thinking marketing, there's like your Seth Godin, or, you know, the father of marketing. You can't think marketing and not think him. So in your space, who are the people that you're like, okay, let me actually check how he's doing, and you still try to emulate some of the stuff that you're doing because you think like, oh, this is actually moving with times.
Oh. Okay, so in terms of that, I think like I've got different people for the different things I do. So when I started photography, like I had this rule. I'm not going to learn from, and it might seem bad that I might be roasted for this.
Yeah.
Like I told myself, I'm not looking for an African artist to inspire me.
Yeah.
Only because I just think people overseas, they just know the stuff for longer. They've kind of locked it in. And also for me, like when I started photography, I looked at African photographers and there was no one who I was like, who made me feel like inferior.
Yeah.
Like I can do that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But like there were so many people like, you know, Clay Cook, there's Kate Woodman, so good with color.
Yeah.
There's Lindsay Adler. I look at their stuff and I just feel like my stuff was shit.
Yeah.
That is what I want. That is what I looked at. Trevor Sturman, I think. African. He started South as
You know him?
Sturman or something. He's a South African. He started photography, but is now more into fashion. He's a good photographer. But when I looked at his work, I was like, he's good, but I can get there.
Sure,
It's like,
sure.
It's nothing amazing for me. And I feel like a lot of African, like, creatives, a lot of the time when we get to where we get, it's like a lot of connection.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're not even being really good unless there's Poppy. You know this lady called Poppy?
Karabo, yes.
She's good.
Yeah.
Like with Karabo Poppy, I think her work is so good, whether she's got connections or not. Whereas, you know, I use like these people where I feel like overseas, like in America, the art scene is less closed.
Yeah.
So if you're good, you're just really good. Whereas like in Africa, like especially South Africa, I feel like a lot of people who are doing well, it's because you've got a connection, you know someone. So yeah, I have like for example, film. I studied film after photography.
Yeah.
Werner Herzog, he's one of like my favorite, but there's also Quentin Tarantino and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Who I admire. I also like indie makers. But like in the design world, I'd be lying if I say there's anyone who inspires me. I'm inspired by design in general. I'll look at Michelangelo's work. I'll look at Leonardo da Vinci's work.
Yeah.
I'll look at...
It goes that far back.
It's like, because you see with art, the more you ingest art, the more you are able to output something nice. So I look at all sorts of art. Whether it's African, whether it's Asian, whether I just take it in, and it like informs.
Yeah.
So I can't really name specific artists in the design or the UX world. I think Dean Norman is one of the top. I think it's Dean Norman, but I know his name is Norman. He's the top UX UI person. He's known for a lot of things. But like he's so old now. I appreciate his words when I was studying, but I just admire. Like if you go to Behance, just go to Behance and look at UX UI projects. Amazing. I'll forget your name after I see that design. I won't forget that design. So I feel like it's just like you're talking about like earlier when we were talking about whether books and stuff are overrated.
Yeah.
Art or anything, like you mentioned Seth Godin, very good. You read his books, but he's just like a little drop in the puzzle. There's Gary Vee. He's got his own stuff.
Exactly.
Very aggressive, very cool in your face. Then we've got like...
I think your Chris Dews as well.
Yes, I don't know. Then it's like, what's Hamosi?
Alex Hamosi.
I like his thing. So the more you ingest, you know, when you look at media, you look at Casey Neistat.
Yeah.
Like the more you ingest all these, and that's the beautiful thing about being an artist, it influences everything. So I can name a few names, but I don't have them on my wall that like, Alex Hamosi, my hero. No, I admire everyone's work as it is, but like I have my own